all my analytics classes for all those nerds out there.
But Thomas Bryant jockstrap, get him out of here.
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Donald, get back. They snatched that chain, boy. Get back. What y'all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back. We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Pannone, Rob Watson. Today is, I usually say it's a beautiful day, but it's just Monday, September 15th,
nice
2025.
Apparently it was too hot yesterday.
You know,
Ryan's glasses are looking good.
Thank you. My eyes have been very strained lately. I look at computer screens literally 24 hours a day, so I figured I could do a little something healthy for my life and my eyes. Important organ there.
Good move.
All right, guys, I kind of walked in today and wondered what vibe our show was going to take, because I'll start. Obviously, the Browns' 41-17 loss in Baltimore, embarrassing.
So much for
I'm
the
very
Flacco
I'm
revenge
very
game.
apathetic. Very apathetic. It's hard for me to get emotional about a team that, to be honest, doesn't look like they belong on the field with these teams that they play. A lot of questionable decisions make me wonder if winning is a priority. We talk about process over results. Is it the Cleveland Browns motto? And yesterday was a perfect example of that. I don't know what the process was.
Trust it, though.
In that game, but like the 76ers like to say, it's
Trust the
worked out for them.
process.
Trust the process. We'll start here, guys. 41-17. Browns offense looks atrocious, worse in the NFL yet again. Baltimore wagon. They destroyed us. Joe Flacco looks like a statue in the pocket. And right now, outside of rookies, Browns don't have much going for them at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of exactly on par with what we warned people about quite literally all off season long. So if you're looking for somebody to yell and scream and get really mad, like, unfortunately, change the channel, turn this show off, because you're not going to find it here. This is exactly what we all knew that we were signed up for. Like, if you think about what they did this offseason, right? If you want to take the big view of this, because there's not much reason to break down the 41-point shellacking that the Browns took on Sunday. Like, they brought in Joe Flacco, who quite literally nobody else wanted. That was the case 2 years ago. That was the case last year. It was the case this year. To try to replicate some of that magic that he took the Browns to the playoffs with in 2023. And as the days go by, Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns should just be abundantly grateful that that playoff appearance ever happened, because in their last 20 games, Kevin Stefanski has won just 3. They're 3-17 in their last 20 games, and the offense has looked as bad this year as it ever has. They're outgaining opponents. You know, their process is working. You know, they're in the last 2 weeks, the numbers are out there that they are outgaining their opponent in almost every single metric, and you still get boat raced. I mean, and like the amount of stats and information that you have out of these losses are puzzling. And unfortunately, and we're not going to sit here and do the call for somebody's job thing in 2 weeks, but at some point the head coach has to be held accountable. When they held, like, think about this, guys, right? Like last week, we know about the 7 second half yards. You held Burrow, Chase, Higgins all in check for that second half, right? This week, they held Lamar Jackson, that Baltimore offense, to their least gain yardage game in the last 5 years that Lamar Jackson has started at quarterback, and they lost 41-17. It was a game that wasn't even competitive there at the end. So at some point, the process is broken, and the head coach has to be held accountable. And again, we're not going to do the call for Kevin sports talk today, but I think everybody in Cleveland, everybody in this room included, knows the unfortunate path that this train is.
Is that unfortunate anymore, though? Is it?
I think it's unfortunate because we have seen Kevin coach good football. But here's the thing. It's unfortunate because Kevin has gotten us, at least the 4 of us, Gen Z Browns fans, closest to watching competence that we've ever seen. However, at some point, the standard has to be something more than oh, look at Dylan Sampson and the way that he can catch passes out of the backfield. Oh, look at Harold Fannin Jr. Here's a player that we found out of the MAC that looks to be really promising. Like, at some point, the standard has to be winning football games. At some point, you as Browns fans at home have to expect your football team to win games. And with this head coach, you can't get that because they're so focused on their process and they're not focused on results that you can't have that expectation when this guy has lost 17 of the last 20 games that he's coached. Like, at some point, like the Baltimore Ravens, right? Yesterday, they did their big 30th anniversary celebration. And obviously, Joe Flacco was a big piece of that history, having won a Super Bowl with Harbaugh and the Ravens in the 2000s. And Harbaugh and Flacco came in together, and they had a lot of that success together. Well, Harbaugh came in and replaced a Super Bowl winning coach in Brian Billick because he wasn't meeting the standard any longer. Brian Billick was no longer meeting the standard of winning football games in Baltimore. Brian Billick continued to kick footballs to Josh Cribbs, who was returning them for touchdowns, and that caused Baltimore to look in their own situation and say, hey, this is a guy, even though we've had some moments and we've won a Super Bowl with, he's not getting it done anymore. And it was time for a new flavor, and that flavor was Harbaugh and Flacco, and they ultimately created a new standard for Baltimore football. The standard here in Cleveland is watching the Jacksonville Jaguars on the other channel and pulling for them to lose that game, because here we are in the midst of another rebuild, cheering for our draft positioning, cheering for April, or cheering for the NFL draft combine in Indianapolis, that any of these college quarterbacks can find their footing. Like, that's the part of the Kevin Stefanski conversation that's a little unsettling, is because this is a guy that we've seen can be a good coach, but the standard needs to be way higher than what it is right now. Like, the Browns told you all off season long, they think that they're better than a 3-win football team that they were last year. Like, look at this schedule. You guys might be lucky to be a 3-win football team this year. And when that's the standard, then it is time for a change of scenery, and it is time for a new head coach.
You know, the Browns have been so pathetic the last few years. It makes you wonder whether or not the old merit of, you know, they say nowadays in football, it's the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. But when you look at teams just this season, I know the Vikings lost yesterday, but week 1, they're down with a rookie quarterback at halftime. He throws a pick six, heads in the locker room, comes out and looks like Tom Brady, and they win a game against the Chicago Bears. You look at the Colts, 2-0 with Daniel Dimes for the first time since 2009. Mm-hmm. You look at the Browns. You limit Derrick Henry to 21 yards. You mentioned Lamar Jackson's stat. And by the way, Harbaugh coached an awful game yesterday. Some of his decision makings were very questionable. You still managed to give up 41 points and lose the game, and it wasn't even a close game. Like, at some point, you got to look at the Browns and just the organization. They're just garbage. Like, I don't know how else to put it. They find ways to lose games. They find historic ways, I should say, to lose games. And that's just what bad football teams and bad cultures do.
It's even like accountability, just like coming from the top, like leading up to the game, all the bulletin board material going out, like all the shit talking, absolutely zero of it backed up on the field. Like, it does start at the top and someone having to say, cut the bullshit. And like, that's not around anymore. Like, I'm not here to accuse Kevin Stefanski of saying he's lost the voice of the locker room, but it's hard to argue otherwise at this point in time. Like, it's brutal. Ryan, I don't know if I ever want to watch football again. My football team's let up 82 points over the weekend.
When Terry Pluto's post-game story drops and it says, you know that the game was over when the block punt happened, you didn't even need to watch the game to know, well, it wasn't the Browns that blocked the punt. Because when's that happened over the last, like, this is year 6 of this regime, and it's they're starting to regress, guys. Like, that's the alarming part of this.
That is the alarming part. Like, when you try to find positives in this team, and it goes back to Kevin Stefanski, everything when you went to that AFC divisional game is pretty much gone. Like, yeah, you have some returning players, of course, but your offensive line is not a strength. In fact, it's a weakness. It's not young and agile. It's old and frail. Your secondary is
expensive.
Yeah. That's a good point. Your secondary is not good. Denzel Ward got cooked that first quarter, I'll be honest with you, and then he went to the locker room. Greg Newsome, whatever. Cam Mitchell doesn't look like an NFL player. Miles Harden doesn't look like an NFL player. Your lack of depth is there. And the running back room is I mean, honestly, that might be a positive. Quinshon Judkins actually looked pretty damn good. Dylan Sampson does what he does. And then it's the receivers. You have Jerry Jeudy, who doesn't look like a number one
That's
receiver
no
at all.
challenges. Don't call him Jerry Jeudy anymore.
Yeah.
That's no challenges.
He drops the ball. Cedric Tillman drops the ball. Like, there's just no juice. You don't have any players that you look on that field and are like, that's a burner. That's a guy that no matter the situation, he's going to produce and he's going to contribute. Like the Browns are just simply put so void of talent.
Ryan, everybody owns that too, because like I'm so tired of like, well, Andrew Berry can't draft. Like, well, we've seen some hits from Andrew Berry. Like again, everybody wears that. Like at some point, you've got to develop a receiver. It just has to happen.
No, they just
like
can't,
Jerry
bro.
Jerry Jeudy, good player. Not sure he's a wide receiver 1. Cedric Tillman being your wide receiver 2 when he's on his rear end more than he's on his feet just simply can't be the case. The team's only touchdown pass yesterday came from a ball that was going to be an interception. And again, Cedric Tillman was on his rear end when he caught that ball because he's just incapable of keeping his feet, you know?
Yeah, and like if you take away Jerry Jeudy's 4 receptions for 59 yards, which like again isn't anything special in the first place, it was only 4 catches for 33 yards from the rest of the Browns receivers, which you count in Jamari Thrash catching a ball, Chris Paul hits a huge three to cut the deficit to 1,000 with 10 seconds left, and then Cedric Tillman accidentally catching a ball. That's 2 catches from your fucking receivers, not named Jerry Jeudy, all day long. That's terrible. Dylan Sampson, like, yeah, he was great week 1, but he had 13 yards from scrimmage yesterday, like including receiving, and I think he only had like 6 carries for 8 yards or some shit. Like, I don't know, man. It's bad.
The team is not good. You saw what it was. We saw the most talented team ever. You've all touched on it. Every single bit of that is gone. Even what made the offensive coordinator is gone.
The swag's gone.
The O-lineman coach that was the only reason that line was truthfully watchable is gone. All the linemen's health and young longevity gone. Their power gone. Running backs gone. Receivers gone. Quarterback gone. We've averaged 13 points in the last 8 games. We never scored 20 points. Kevin Stefanski's got like the 23rd best win percentage in the NFL amongst active coaches. He's regressed. The team's bad. Andrew Berry knows no talent. He's allergic to drafting playmakers on offense. It's quite simple. You need offense to score and win in the NFL. The defense is okay. It's good. Like they could make plays, but at the end of the game, though, like I'm not expecting them to like win us a game either, though, because the secondary is still like a weak point. The rush could be as good as you want, but if they could just throw it up and close their eyes, like we're never going to beat a good team. Lamar Jackson just runs around a little bit and then it's a touchdown. He threw for 4 touchdown passes. Like I don't care that we outgained him, we held him to a couple yards, but you can't do anything else right. I don't know why Bubba Ventrone still has a job.
At least they
Special
stuck
teams
with
has been miserable
Andre
for
Schmidt.
years, bro. Like we can't do anything. Like in all facets, we're deficient at some point. The offense is horrendous. It's unwatchable. I'm watching like Kevin Stefanski's an offensive genius, right, guys? The teams in the whole time he's been the coach, we've never been top 15 in points scored. That's not an offensive genius to me. We had great players and we never did anything with that.
You mentioned
like,
Bubba Ventrone. You mentioned Bubba Ventrone. The lasting image that I'll have from this game in the weeks that follow and months and ultimately years that stack up in Browns lore is the block punt happens and Bojorquez is down on the field injured. And the Ravens scored. Browns offense stalled 3 and out. And the punter has to limp back into the game.
And he still drops a dime.
He absolutely missed his block right up the middle
He's the
on
best
the
punter in the
block
NFL.
punt.
It's not even
They
close.
said, hey, I know your ankle got rolled up there. You're our
Someone's
best.
gotta punt it.
You're our best player, and
like-
this is our only chance. You got to get back.
I
up
need
there.
to know why we're throwing the ball 45 times. When has that ever been like what we're supposed to do? The
Joe
Stefanski
Flacco also
playbook?
cannot move in the pocket whatsoever.
Okay, yeah, you're faster than Joe Flacco.
Yeah, no,
more.
I
he's-
actually am.
And
Dude,
we're
he has
running
cinder
bootlegs
blocks on
like
his
it's a
feet.
whole part of our game. Why are you even calling
I
that?
understand that the days of pocket passers, pure 6'5" guys, statues in the pockets, your Flaccos, your Roethlisbergers, your Brady's, it's kind of done. Like you have to be uber talented. Like I'm trying to think of is there a pure pocket passer right now that is elite? I'm not really sure that there is anymore. But in the fact of Rob, you're exactly right in the Cleveland Browns offense. Like we'll see what happens with Dylan Gabriel once he gets to start because he's got some legs on him. But at some point, it can't be 3-4 years in a row where you're rolling out just not an NFL product is really the only way to put it. Something has to be done about that.
Do you watch these patterns that we put out on the field?
I want to know what Joe Flacco's
like,
average depth of target was.
It's
in that
like
game.
I looked it up, the whatever the event, it was like 4 yards again.
Yeah.
It's all check
4
downs.
yards?
It's horrendous, bro. Do you watch like 45 pass attempts and he had like 299
And it's
yards? I don't even think he
because
got to 300.
They're so afraid of the big mistake. Like they operate their offense and their team and their whole identity is being so conservatively afraid of the big mistake happening that when any mistake happens, it's like the entire damn let's lose because the entire game has been predicated on slowly tiptoeing, slowly walking on eggshells, that whenever a mistake happens, it's like, yeah, well, hey, we were teetering on the brink of this for the last 3 quarters.
It's such a dumb philosophy, too, because when you're as non-naturally talented as that roster is compared to others in the NFL, you can't be the kind of team that's like, oh, one little mistake will trip you up. And like, you can't be predicated on that. No.
What is the identity? Because we don't even stick to that. We threw it 45 times. All I've been told about.
You got that challenge successful, though.
Is how he knows how to run this wide zone scheme. We don't even run the ball like that.
If you have the worst offense in the NFL, you can't run Unk ball for 60 minutes.
Judkins was doing okay.
Why was Jerome Ford out there at any point in time, too? At the end of the game, didn't need to learn a thing about him.
Our offensive line has no dog. Like, I got people out the game on a 75-degree day because it's too hot outside. And we're supposed to think that that's an offensive line that's going to bully people,
I had this thought watching the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. Bijan Robinson,
get it, bro.
probably the best running back in the NFL. I watched one play from the aerial view, and I watched Bijan get the ball and had the most disgusting lateral cut to get into a new gap. And it made me think, NFL players are all talented. But boy, when I watch Bijan Robinson move compared to a guy like Jerome Ford, I mean, it's like AAU football.
Because Jerome Ford is, he shouldn't
It's
have
like comparing
a job.
Ohtani to Austin Hedges.
He's a fringe running back 3. I think the other two backs are solid if you got a O-line that can inflict any damage on the opposing line. Like, these are good runners, but you got to also commit to it. Like, I don't get what this whole thing was. If we run it once and we get 1 yard, run it again. See if we can get into third and manageable. But you're going to throw Flacco 58 times. He's going to turn the ball over. He's going to throw picks. And then what? But like the team,
that pick was bad.
We have said all that. I want to know how there's no way that this turns in even, I don't even think 2 seasons. Where's the quarterback prospect?
Where's the first win at on the schedule,
Because we can't identify him, and we know we can't develop him. So where's the guy that's just already ready-made that's going to come handle that? We're going to need 5 O-linemen. We don't have receivers. We're going to need defensive players. We need the linebackers. We're going to need new edge rushers. How are you going to take care of all of that in 1 year? How are you going to take care of all that in 2 years? You have no money.
But Tony
you can't sign anybody.
Expiring too, right?
It goes back to guys like they made, and at the end of the day, right, when this is all done and written, like they made the worst trade in the history of professional sports, and that's ultimately what's going to cost them their job. That's ultimately going to be be the referendum on Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry. They're absent $230 million in their cap sheet that they can't use on proven veterans.
4 picks,
and they were without 3 premium first-round picks that they could have used on a receiver, a tackle, a linebacker, any position of need that you just listed off. Well, you didn't have 3 first-round picks, and the quarterback that was supposed to be that guy to elevate the roster, you quite literally can't get rid of soon enough. I got invited on Facebook to an event on June 1st for a post-June 1st Deshaun Watson celebration bash in downtown Cleveland. Like, that's where we're at right now. And the fact that they boarded that jet, they couldn't run Baker Mayfield out of town quick enough, and Baker Mayfield's turned into a franchise QB, albeit he said that he needed to bottom out, he needed to flame out, he needed to mature, all that. You still own that. Like, you still boarded that jet. You still went down there and met with that guy and brought him back here, and it will go down as the worst trade in professional sports history.
I can't, there's no justifying, and I get you said we're not going to do that talk, but I'll do it. I'll be the one to say it. You can't take a team that was a playoff caliber team that people said had the talent to be a Super Bowl contender and lead it to where we are now and still have your job. There's coaches, who was a couple years ago in Miami, he went 10-6 and then 9-8, and he got fired. Okay, I just watched the dude go 3-14. It's going to be just as bad this year. I don't need to watch the next couple games to know. I know. It's going to be like another 3 or 4 wins. That you don't keep your job after that. I don't care what the process is. I don't care if the draft class was halfway decent. You've ultimately failed for the last 5 years. You guys have strictly just barely gotten by off the talent that was there, and you've done nothing to reload it at all. Your best draft pick was JOK. Sadly, he's not even on the field anymore, as much as it hurts to say, but that's just where we are as a team, and the people who are behind it need to answer for it. Finally, there's no upside to keep like pointing to. And then you get in the post game and you're saying there's no chance we're switching QBs. How much longer are you going to play him? I feel like you're just trying to extend it for you now. What, are you going to keep rolling Dylan Gabriel out there every game when we're down 30 points to say, oh, but he looks promising? No, put him in the game because I'm sure it's going to look about the same. Maybe he's going to be a little more athletic. He might play a little better, but it's just your scheme's going to still look awful. People are still not going to be open. We're still not going to be able to run the ball. We're going to still lose by 30 points. It's just the last thing you got to hold on to keep your job. We're just peddling people along at this point.
All right, well, that takes us to where do the Browns go from here? Before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Fairway Ford. Fairway Ford, Ohio is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the entire state. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and they won't be beat on price by any other Ford dealers. Don't let that short drive to Canfield prevent you from saving thousands of dollars on your new dream vehicle. Over 500 vehicles in stock in their lot, so make that short drive to Canfield. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing and same hometown level of service. Scan that QR code now or go give their website a visit, fairwayfordohio.com. Again, that's fairwayfordohio.com. Well, Kevin Stefanski in his post-game press conference says he's not really considering a quarterback change. We saw Dylan Gabriel get in late after the game was all said and done, threw a touchdown pass, actually a pretty decent layered throw there. But where do the Browns go from here, guys? Do we want to see Dylan Gabriel start week 3 against probably right now the best defense in the NFL? And real quick, I want to say about Kevin Stefanski, man, like if my football team isn't going to be good, I don't want a robot at head coach leading the way. Like I want some emotion, even if it's a facade, even if you want to be stoic, you don't want to show emotion. I understand that, but at some point, something's got to stick, man. I want to see some type of fire, some type of motivation that shows me you actually are like do care. And maybe that's not fair for me to question that about Kevin Stefanski caring, because 2-time coach of the year, and I get all that, but at some point, man, show me something that you're willing to go out there and fight for your guys.
You know, in terms of the quarterback change thing, I have to say, like, I get it. You know, like they, again, this offseason was the island of misfit toys. It is what it is. Like, you look at this schedule, and we talked about it right when it dropped. Like, well, you could be staring 0-6, dead down the barrel, and here you sit looking 0-6, dead down the barrel. Like, I think it would probably be malpractice behind this shaky O-line to put Dylan Gabriel in there against Micah Parsons. Then you go to Detroit, and you know, Aiden Hutchinson's going to be trying to tee off you. Then London against the Vikings, who I know they look shaky in primetime, but last season, remember, like last training camp, it was the Minnesota Vikings that kind of put the flashlight on how bad Cleveland was going to be offensively when that defense came in here and dominated. Not to mention, they'll have Darisaw back for that game. They'll have Jordan Addison back for that game. So it'll be a different Minnesota Vikings team. And then you go to Pittsburgh, a place where you haven't won a regular season game in that stadium in the last 22 years. So I think you're looking at minimum 4 more Joe Flacco games. And in those 4 games, you got to find a way to make it look palatable. Like, you've got to find a way to make it look like this is a system, this is a process that we can hand off to a 3rd-round quarterback in Dylan Gabriel. Like, at some point over the next 4, you need to find something offensively to hang your hat on with Joe Flacco that you feel responsible for putting a young man's career in your hands whenever Dylan Gabriel gets the keys to the car. I'd probably look at October 19th at home against the Miami Dolphins as a potential date for a quarterback change, barring injury or something unforeseen. This is the Browns that we're talking about, so you could always bake in the fact that there is a high likelihood of unforeseen, but yeah, I got maybe October 19th as the first potential Dylan Gabriel game.
Are you hungry, Rob?
Of course not. I just don't get this argument. I kind of see the logic we always come at with don't put them back there and feed them to the wolves. But, well, kid, this is the NFL. At some point, you're gonna have to play somebody. Like when I played sports, I didn't go to coach and say, "Oh no, like it's my first time to get ticked today. We're playing a ranked team. No, don't put me in. No, take your opportunity." When is it going to get better? If the O-line's already shaky now, we know injuries are afoot at any point. Yes. When did that? I could look at every team coming up And at some point on this schedule, there's going to be a solid edge rusher. Raiders might be a mid-team, but you're going to have to go against Max Crosby. Dolphins got Chop Robinson. That's a pretty good edge rusher. That's a bad team. No matter what happens, you're playing like every other team has a threat usually. Like even we have a threat on defense. So
I mean, I'm gonna get some text for this, and like it just is what it is. They like Dylan Gabriel. They want to be responsible with Dylan Gabriel. They feel the same way about Shador. They like Dylan Gabriel because Deshaun Watson's cap hit next year is $80 million.
But
that's the reason why they like.
What
Dylan
investment
Gabriel.
are we protecting though? Put him out there, see if he could play. Nothing will change if you do that in week 3
They
versus
might
if you
need
do it in
him
week
next
9.
year.
I think
Play him next
also
year. If the kid can't have a bad game and then throw it away and then come back and play again at some point, then he wasn't worth anything at all. That's just what it is. You're not a competitor. If you can't have a bad, so what? Your first game was shaky. You played a great player. Adjust. Move on to the next one.
I think if you're Kevin, though, like the biggest thing that you can do to, if you're him, like in his mind, to point towards, hey, I should have a job next year, would be Dylan Gabriel playing halfway decent football this year. So I think they're going to coddle him along as long as humanly possible and like wait until not necessarily the team like needs him out there as the best option, but until he is put in the best position to go out there and have a chance to win, which might be a lot longer than we think.
If anyone has sense, that's going to get everyone fired. If we're going to wait and lose the next 8 games in a row, this is the dumbest thing ever. Because Jimmy's going to eventually see, come week whatever, we're playing a random home game versus whatever team, not even looking, and there's 500 people at the game because no one cares. And then he realizes he's losing money, and then he has this reactionary Jimmy moment, or he comes to his senses on this one. He says, time for something new, and he gets rid of everybody. Kevin Stefanski loves the boots. We can't do it at all with Joe Flacco. If any play goes even slightly wrong, sack. There's no room for error at all for the all line that we're saying is terrible. It's bad. We need someone who could at least kind of make something happen on a play that's a little bit off schedule, which is going to be our whole game because we can't run the ball either. So
I agree. I think it's just time to rip the Band-Aid off,
Yeah.
even if it is week 2. There's no season to keep on the rails, so I don't want to hear that argument, first of all. And if you put in Dylan Gabriel, like you're not asking him to go win the game for us to be like, yeah, that's a good performance. Let's
make
be
it
real.
a little more watchable.
Like Cam Ward, 0-2, that's fine. You see the throw he made, that shows you he can make an NFL caliber throw. Now it's to be seen, is he going to put it all together? Like, yeah, you can have the arm talent of a Josh Allen, but you still got to be able to manage game, read defenses, and all that good stuff. It's just, let's see what the offense looks like with a guy that can move a little bit in Dylan Gabriel. And if anything, we can rest our laurels. Well, if he goes out and the Browns score 25 plus points, well, maybe we'll be feeling at least a little better about the offense. There's just quite literally no point in keeping Joe Flacco in the game.
This is all we talked about too, all off season. We got to evaluate 2 guys. What's the hold up now?
And here's the thing, right?
Play
like they have
15 weeks.
They went into
13.
this with a bunch of
13,
different
16.
doors, right? There was a Joe Flacco door, Kenny Pickett door, Tyler Huntley door, and then the door of the rookies. It all simplified when Kenny Pickett was traded for a 5th round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I saw some of the chit chat that said, what would the Browns record be? Would they at least have a win with Kenny Pickett as the starting quarterback? And for the people that are like, well, that's why Kevin and Andrew so badly wanted to keep Kenny Pickett around. Like, well, you don't trade a guy that you think can win you games for a 5th round pick. Like you just don't.
He took all the reps in training
they
camp, by
set
the way.
5th
All
round
wasted.
picks. They set 5th round picks on fire. So you don't trade somebody that you genuinely believe can win you football games for a 5th round pick. So leave that for what it is. You have 3 doors then, right? You have the Joe Flacco door, vet that's done it before, went to the playoffs with Dylan Gabriel door, Shador Sanders door. You open up the Joe Flacco door and there's nothing in there. Like we're 2 weeks in the season and we know there's just nothing behind that door. Like we've seen it at its absolute apex and we've seen it at the absolute lowest. And right now we're at the basement. We're at the lowest of Joe Flacco. And they thought that there was a real path this year with Joe Flacco where
just a brick wall on the other side of the
because
door.
the defense is so good that if Flacco could just do what he did in 2023 and hit the layups, you could win some games. Okay, we figured out that that's not happening. That should push you to the next door.
Yes.
That would be Dylan Gabriel. I just fear that if you're opening and closing doors and you've only got 3 doors and you're already opening your next door 2 weeks into the year, well, we got 15 weeks that need to play out here. We got 15 more of these games to go.
Well, first of all, I'd give the rookies obviously a more leash because they're gonna the rookie making the stupid mistake of that throw.
And you also don't have a choice either.
Is expected.
That's
Yes, you
true.
don't have a choice. Expected, but Yes, like
It's you know what?
play them.
You know what it
if
reminds
they
me of?
suck, they suck. But let me see it.
It reminds me of the fallacy, the sunken cost fallacy, like
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. When you kept rolling him out there, even though you know it wasn't going to work, it was insanity. There's no good end result. It's just you're laying it back on because you paid him so much money, you have to play him. What's the same thing with these rookies? Because you want to keep the season on the rails again. There is no season on the rails.
All of
It's already
this, and we're gonna
yeah.
draft a new guy next year.
The dragster already closed down. It's rolling down backwards. We know that. Just throw in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. If it doesn't
Play.
work out, guess what? Sorry, but that's what you made your bed. You lay in it, and then we have a new regime next year.
At
I
least-
agree with
and
you
there's
guys.
something
I
that
just
come out
don't.
of-
I don't see it happening. Like when they make these decisions for whatever reason, time and again, they stand 10 toes down. Like we're gonna.
stubborn.
I think we're gonna see 4 more weeks of Joe Flacco.
Not
Like
if-
I don't think that's the right
4 more
move.
weeks of
You
winter.
guys
behind-
are all saying.
not behind that
Everybody's
O-line.
saying it locally and
He
nationally.
won't make it 4 more weeks.
I think he's gonna
Michael
go.
Parsons might end that next week.
Yeah.
He seriously might. Saying who's coming off the other, is that Rashawn Gary?
so.
That might get ended next week. And if we find out that every quarterback on the roster sucks by week 8, okay, good. Tank will have the first pick.
If it's hot in Cleveland too, and Dewan's not out there, you never know too.
All right,
What's
guys.
the weather looking like?
Yeah,
for
get a little
Sunday?
report on the weather.
Well, the Browns do suck, but there are some other teams in the NFL that suck, but there's also some good teams in the NFL that are fun to watch. And there's a lot of games, a lot
Really?
of crazy games. This was like one of the most craziest.
They have a chance. It's
week 1
supposed to
slates.
rain on Sunday.
No, I watched multiple
okay. Hey, we
NFL
got
teams
bad
score.
shot in hell now, folks.
It was insane because you turn off the game and then I'm watching everyone else score 30 points.
Yeah, it's like, and we say this all the
with
time. It's like
washed
it's like
QBs.
you're watching.
It's in a different
It's
sport.
a different sport. But I got to tell you guys about our friends at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes with just 2 flavors: classic light lager as well as that classic lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just beer flavored beer. Scan the QR code now or go give their website a visit. DrinkGarageBeer.com to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Again, that's DrinkGarageBeer.com. All right. Well, the biggest story out of week 1, Joe Burrow sidelined for approximately 3 months. Turf toe is what they call it, I believe, some torn ligaments. They said 3 months, as I said, is the projected absence for Joe Burrow. They still got the win with Jake Browning. Boy, that game was a sweat for me. I had it in a parlay. But listen, it goes back to, and I know it's the Jaguars. They don't have a great defense, but good teams find ways to win. Zach Taylor grabbed his stones, went for it on his damn near 15-yard line in 4th and 3, and it worked out because not only then did you play for the field goal, you went and got the win and left them no time on the clock. That's just what good coaches do. Sometimes you just got to grab your stones, look at your situation, and realize this is the only way to win. And I wish the Browns would do that sometimes.
And Ryan, bad teams find a way to look at the Jags, man. Like they had every opportunity to win that game. They can't get it done.
Brian
Yeah, I
Thomas
mean,
washed.
dude, you're not
Holy.
gonna see Joe Burrow though until December. Like that's gonna be a lot of Jake Browning football in Cincinnati. That shores up
That's
the
not gonna
way
look
for
good.
that shores up the AFC playoff picture. Like obviously not saying that that's anything the Browns have to worry about, but like it carves out a path for Pittsburgh, who was unable to win yesterday. But man, that path at wild card is there now because I think they could beat up Jake Browning a couple times. I'll say this too, though. Like I do think Jake Browning is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. Like I do think Jake Browning could at least give them a fighting chance in some of these games.
Yeah, let's
But
talk about the playoffs 2 years ago.
I mean, dude, like Joe Burrow is. This is not an original thought out of me. He is on that Andrew Luck trajectory.
That's what I was
He's
gonna say.
so
I was gonna
good.
say
He's
Mike
just
Trout.
always hurt.
This
like
is-
Mike Trout in a way too. Like he never had the proper roster construction around him to truly reach the top. Like I know the Bengals actually reached the Super Bowl, whereas the Angels only made the playoffs once. But like this is the 3rd time now that you're going to see Joe Burrow already in his career miss a significant amount of action in one season. Like it's starting to get to that point of like even Derrick Rose in a way too of
It's
like
always
seeing the guy out there.
obscure, too. But this makes me a little bit upset because I'm a partial Chiefs hate watcher at times, and now like in a year where they really got off to a bad start and they were looking rough, they still have a chance to just sneak into the playoffs in whatever account because something like this happens. They're always going to find a way out there. So
It is such a shame, man. And I've made it very clear I do not like the Bengals at all. They're my least favorite team in the whole entire NFL. But Joe Burrow is such a special talent, man. And just watching a career like that potentially go to waste it's just bad. It's bad for the NFL as well.
Also, have a little footnote on this. I'm hearing kind of some rumblings or whatever that this is kind of a similar thing that Garland tried to play through in the playoffs.
I was just telling
wow.
him about that pre-show.
Like
he's
with,
done
with the
surgery.
dude, like this could be like, especially if the Bengals are out of it, like
They
come
will
late
be.
December, which they probably will. Like they could just say, "Hey, pack it up." And
Bold
we'll see
take
ya.
now is this is going to be the first time in a long time we only see one team from our division make the playoffs. I think it might just be Baltimore, and we're going to see like someone out of like the West. We might get 3 teams that
Right.
sneak in out of there.
That was my prediction. I said I think only the Ravens make it, and then I think the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I still think they'll make it. Chargers
You
and,
can see
and
Chiefs,
Broncos.
like something like that may now happen.
Yeah.
Like Texas, like yeah.
All right, well, stop me if you guys have any thoughts about these games. We'll go over them quick because there are a couple I want to talk about. Rams, I mean, not much. That's an expected win for Sean McVay against a rookie. They pull away in the second half.
Cam Ward is good, though.
That's
good,
throw.
Hey,
How about Joey Sly too?
Listen,
4 for 4 on field goals.
It's funny because you can lose games, and I talked about this. It's like just one throw you're almost prove it moment that you have NFL talent.
Yep.
That was a prove it.
I would
throw.
have smiled watching both games if we had lost the extra games last year and drafted Cam Ward.
That was a throw
Point blank.
That throw from Cam Ward across the body to the opposite end zone or side corner of the end zone. Like I've seen these following quarterbacks make damn near that exact throw. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Drake May had one last year.
And if you watched last week, he looked good. They just couldn't catch a pass. Like the talent is there, but continue. My bad. Just
Bills, they beat down on the Jets 30-10. Jets
expected.
might
Jets
be
are
poop,
bad.
like I said.
expected.
Jets need a quarter. That's a tank-off team to watch.
Well, if you're
Which
talking
is
about
why I
Browns,
think Pittsburgh's not that good.
Here, if you're talking about Browns'
That
potential first win, Patriots, they beat the Dolphins. Crazy sequence there. They had a punt
We
return
won't
and then a
beat New
kickoff
England
for
in
Yeah, that was
I know.
nuts.
I don't think we will either.
Yeah.
Tua is just absolute garbage. I think Mike McDaniel's going to get canned.
There's a chance there.
49ers.
Look at how many points they put up. Like that's what's in the back of my mind when I watch these games. I'm like, how?
Yeah,
Like, they're
'cause
so bad.
We're
and they're
allergic to
they're
anything
so bad.
past
and-
17.
Rob, they're so bad, and they still put up 30.
Yep.
49ers, they squeak away with Mac
Mac
Jones
Jones.
at the helm, 26-21. Not much to talk
Saints
about there.
awful. Are they on the schedule?
No.
Nope, of course not.
Another tankathon team.
And
to
then
watch,
this
though,
game
for
probably
mock
the most
drafters.
interesting. Cowboys Giants 40-37. Couple of thoughts.
Crazy.
Thoughts on this one. James Hudson, what are you doing? First of all, second of
We
all,
missed out on that
Giants
action,
might
dude.
be the most undisciplined team in the NFL. Third thought, the Cowboys secondary is the worst unit
Fourth
I've ever
thought,
seen maybe in
Malik
NFL
Neighbors
history.
is him.
Malik Neighbors is a superstar. There's no surprise there.
Imagine
Russell-
having a good receiver guy.
If
Like-
Dart pans out,
And by
if
the
Dart
way-
pans out, you could kind of see a
That
path
was-
with that Giants.
that
with
was-
that
yeah.
Giants front.
Weird,
The defense
very-
is already gross.
Very weird by Brian Dable.
Gotta get
the
6 out of there,
hybrid
though.
kind of bringing in Jackson Dart for a few snaps, bringing it back to Russ. That was interesting. Bears
Developing
Lions.
guys.
Lions put up 50 points. I saw a stat like Jared Goff is his 5th time quarterback a team to 50+ points.
Can we go back for a second
Yeah,
though
please.
on
Yeah.
that Cowboys Giants?
Yeah.
Both DCs probably need to be fired because that last sequence of the touchdown was some of the worst end game defense I've ever seen in my entire life. Cowboys are up 4 points. Just for those who don't know math, field goal is not going to do anything for the Giants, and they're about 60 yards away. And for some reason, the Cowboys are in just like pressed up defense, and we have no safety help over the top on Malik Neighbors. Horrendous. And Aubrey can kick it from 80 yards. The Cowboys have timeouts, and the Giants are now playing 50 back when a field goal ties. But I digress. Back to it. But that was horrendous.
Brandon
bro.
Aubrey, the best kicker in the NFL. It's not even close, in my opinion. All right, Bears, Lions. Lions put up, I mentioned, 52. Caleb
Bears
Williams
suck.
making
Caleb
some
Williams
throws
suck.
that he thinks he can get away with in college. Bears might not be good. Ben Johnson doesn't get the lick against Lions like he would have hoped to. All right, Seahawks, Steelers, they win 31-17. Caleb Johnson might be garbage. That kickoff
that was a miss out of
that
us
was
wanting him as our
embarrassing. The
back.
Steelers defense is
Yeah.
not what it should be, what they thought it was going to be. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, fine. He
Ramsey
played,
is still
like
good, though.
okay, but the thing is, like I watched Aaron Rodgers try to throw across his body, and it looked like he was 41 years old. That's just what you get, a young, experienced offensive line there. Seahawks, Sam Darnold does enough. He had a nice ball to JSN. JSN's having a hell of a year. Their defense, their 2 games has been pretty legit. for the
Tariq
Seahawks.
Woolen washed though. Washed. Greg Newsom.
That
trying
kickoff
to
was
beat-
wild.
Neither of those teams are actually any good.
Nah.
Broncos, Colts, man, Daniel Jones 2-0. Colts first time 2-0 since 2009.
Indiana Jones.
They
Fluke
win on a
2-0.
game-winning field goal. Did you
Hate
guys see
to
the end
say
of that
it.
game?
This is like the Saints
Hate
and
to-
Derek Carr
hate
last
to-
year
hate
going
to
2-0.
throw cold water
Yeah.
all over this, but it means little to nothing. The
Hey,
Colts
I mean,
suck.
you could still in that division. You
The
could easily make the
Texans
playoffs.
have
Colts
looked
suck.
rough,
You could easily
bro.
make the playoffs in that division. Broncos aren't a bad team at all. guys.
They split with Houston.
But Broncos should have won. They had the
Yeah.
encroachment or whatever it was offside on the kick. They
Bo
missed
Nix
it.
looked good.
Bo Nix
Could
did
Dylan
look
Gabriel
good.
be Bo Nix?
And Jonathan Taylor's awesome.
Short version.
All right, Panthers, Cardinals. Cardinals tried everything in their power to give that game away. Bryce Young just might be poop as well. They win 27-22.
There's too many teams that need quarterbacks for me to think we're gonna be the one that hits, bro. And there's gonna be reclamation. We're gonna get Caleb Williams on like a retread reclamation project. We're gonna be the team that does that. Because Ben Johnson, that's not his guy. Because he needs someone who's precise. Caleb wants to play backyard football. He's about to be a Brown. I'm noting that now. Whoa.
Eagles, Chiefs, they win 20-17. Eagles to cover that 2.5. That was easiest. Or -2.5. That was easy.
Yeah.
Are
win
they
20-17.
ever gonna call a false start on the tush
Yeah,
push,
that is.
bro?
It is kind of.
Yeah, it
ridiculous.
is crazy.
But-
That's also the first time the Chiefs have lost 3 games in a row in the Mahomes era, which feels crazy because we're sitting here about a Browns team that's about to lose 10 in a row.
And they'll
for the
turn it
how
around
many time in our
whenever Rice
lives.
and Worthy get back on the field.
Yeah,
but
they just have no run game and don't have enough offensive juice. Like But I will say, Tyquan Thornton, is that his name? Or is
Oh, man.
threat.
He's so
Patrick
nasty.
Mahomes,
He's a threat.
Patrick
so
Mahomes,
nasty.
Patrick Mahomes has missed him on like 3 touchdown
Dude, he
passes
threw
this
them like
season.
5 times in a row, and they were
Yeah.
all like
He beat-
touchdown-worthy
yeah.
plays.
He beat the
bro.
coverage every
and that's
single
about to be wide receiver 3.
Eagles are still just a wagon, and I hate the Jalen Hurts disrespect. All right, Falcons, Vikings, we'll end it here. Falcons the story was defense. Vikings defense was outrageous too, but the Falcons their defensive front was outrageous. JJ McCarthy literally couldn't get anything done. A little bit undisciplined, which was a surprise for a Kevin O'Connell-led offense. Michael Penix did enough. Bijan Robinson is the best running back in the NFL.
And Algier, that's a good 1-2 punch right there.
He's a bowling ball.
You know, that's how you run the ball, guys. Take notes.
All right, guys. Any notes in college, Jack? I know we want to talk about
Nothing.
Yeah, come on. Notre Dame. Just come on, a little bit.
Talk to me about
Yeah, Chris
Aggies
Ash.
football.
This is for Chris Ash and no one else.
Who's Chris Ash?
Everyone else can look away.
New
Notre
defensive-
Dame's
new
new defensive
defensive
coordinator.
He gave up about how many
Replaced
points?
Al Golden.
You win, asshole. You win. All right, just give me my football team back. That's all
Okay.
I want at this point in time. Is
Okay.
I want Al Golden's defense back, and I want it back right now. It's just fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Can you guys keep a
See,
quarterback in the
no,
pocket?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like all these like these Browns
Right.
fans come out and complain like, "Woe is me!" Like football sucks. Football
Facts.
sucks. Like you get to watch an elite product every single Saturday, and there's folks like Ryan and I who just
Browns
get
fans?
fucked over every single day of the
I'll
week by
have
what the
something.
football
Okay,
teams they
yeah,
watch.
you must have meant
No,
about
I haven't
that,
seen
too.
a football team win this year, and I don't know if I will at any point in time.
Right.
You can't throw it on the offense. Jeremiah Love got 20 carries. CJ Carr threw for damn near 300 yards. It's just fucking embarrassing what the defense does.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how you can watch Marcel Reed go out there. You're gonna play Get
a
It
baller.
Sexy by Sexy Red on 3rd down and
was
fucking
hyping
let
him
them
up,
go
honestly.
11 for 15 on
Get
3rd down,
sexy.
10 yards per play on offense. I'm not even gonna Tyler Buckner. It's not even his fault. It's not the
Heads
poor
up,
kid's
heads
fault.
up,
He shouldn't
heads
be out
up.
there holding in the first place. I fucking hate extra points. That's the one thing I've learned through the
Right,
first 2 weeks of football this year. Is they're the stupidest play in sports. And yeah, I mean, like I don't want to like fake anger, but I'm broken by football.
Other college football news: Clemson sucks. Cade Klubnik sucks. Sorry,
Wow.
DJ.
There's not a good quarterback in the draft, dude.
DJ
Sellers
might
got
suck.
popped.
Yeah, he didn't even come back. He pulled it to
Nussmeier
Deshaun. He
looked
played like
mid.
shit, and then he just left. Didn't come
Who
back.
else? Who else were we? Klubnik was one. Nussmeier looked mid.
Nussmeier threw the exact same pick as Joe Flacco
Drew
on Saturday
Aller
night.
has like the worst QBR ever somehow.
Colorado might be buns.
Arch Manning trash.
Colorado is buns. I don't mean might be.
Oh,
buns.
Kyron
Colorado is
Drones
buns.
and Virginia Tech. That went from bad to Scott fucking
Who's
ugly
another
real quick.
quarterback? I'm missing somebody.
Carson Beck, low key looks like a Heisman frontrunner.
Go ahead and pick him if you want.
If the
to,
Browns
guys.
take Carson
don't
back,
want
I swear.
I don't want to pick that.
Who's the
trust
other
me.
quarter? I'm missing one of the top guys. Aller, Klubnik, Sellers,
Nussmeier?
Manning, Nussmeier. Maybe that was everybody. They all look mid.
You think Al Golden wants to come back?
Probably with no
You
Joe,
think
with
that
no
could
Joe
be?
Burrow.
You think that could be
Probably.
arranged? A little
All right,
mid-season
guys,
trade.
We're wrapping up here on the big factor, but before we do that, of course, we're not going to leave without a Monday Night Football parlay for everybody. We cashed our last primetime parlay, I believe,
we
with the
did.
Packers when they defeated the who did they defeat? The Bears?
Commanders.
Commanders, yeah.
Alrighty, FanDuel's getting you ready for the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right, pick a bet $5. If it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the FanDuel app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style is, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season, it's here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Got to be 21 plus and present here in the state of Ohio. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we got a doubleheader today, which I absolutely hate. 2 Monday night games. Why is the Chargers Raiders kicking off at 10 p.m.? I don't care if it's West Coast. That's a shame.
We will be there though.
We
All
will
right,
be there no
Jack,
matter what.
what do you say we go for 2 primetime parlays on FanDuel in a row for our great viewers?
Let's do it, folks. FanDuel Sportsbook parlay of the day plus 968 on the FD Sportsbook app. We're starting off death, taxes, Mike Evans, anytime touchdown. That's how we're going, guys. One last time for our boy in Cleveland. Chubb. Nick Chubb going an anytime touchdown as well. And then Baker, touchdown maker. We're going alternate total passing touchdowns, 2+ for Baker Mayfield. And then last but not least, to quote former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, go Chargers. Chargers -2.5 alternate spread today. Once again, that is plus 968 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app.
Chargers.
Mike Evans, anytime touchdown. Nick Chubb, anytime touchdown. Baker alternate +2 passing touchdowns, and then Chargers alternate spread -2.5. Let's make some money, folks. +968 FanDuel.
All right,
Sportsbook app.
everybody. Appreciate you tuning into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Guys, before we head out of here, is there anything anybody else has got to get off of their chest? You know, this felt like a good therapy session. We got to kind of woe is me a little bit, but we were real. The Browns are what they are. They're what we expected them to be, and you know, we like to go into a season fresh with
said that?
optimism. But at the end of the day, a
that
lot of
Mike
the times
Singletary?
the Browns disappoint us, and this is just another case
They are
of
who we
this.
thought they were.
Anything
we let
anybody
them
got
off
to
the
get off
hook.
their chest before we head out of here?
Yes. Fire Chris Ash and take Sexy Red out of the stadium on 3rd down. Go
All
Irish.
right, that'll be it.
Please
Appreciate
just score 20 points once, guys. Please.
That'd be pretty cool,
Please.
too.
I appreciate everybody tuning into the Big Factor. Shout out Fairway Forge. Shout out Garage Beer again. Shout out FanDuel. Hope everybody has a good Monday. Enjoy the double feature Monday Night Football tonight. And remember, Browns fans, I guess it can only go up from here. Although I don't feel
don't
great
say that.
saying that.
Don't say that.
don't
Do
say
not
that.
say
It could
that.
always get
Oh,
worse.
no.
Just remember
oh, no,
this
Ryan.
one thing, guys. No matter what happens, we're in it together. All right, we appreciate everybody tuning in.
That's
We'll be
true.
back tomorrow, same time. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out, and we'll see you then.